Hello, everybody, and welcome to VideoGrimes, the only gaming podcast willing to get its hands dirty. I'm Sprinkle. Joining me today is Jordan Aech
How you doing?
and Stef.
Hello.
Before we get started into our main topic of what it means to be a gamer, I would like to first ask everybody what you've been playing.
I have jumped right back into Call of Duty. I have picked up the addiction pretty rapidly. I got Black Ops 2 on PC, and let me tell ya, it's a different monster on PC. I'm getting my butt handed to me a bunch, though I'm learning the controls adequately. I'm a lot better now than I was when I started, but still, it's really difficult. I remember, I remember why it frustrated me so much, because lots of bullcrap happens. Some of it's your fault, a lot of it's not, but somehow it's still really fun, and so I've been playing a lot of the multiplayer on that. Unfortunately, since it's such an old game, relatively speaking, I can't really play all the modes just because there's nobody in the lobby, and so it's mostly team deathmatch. Sometimes I can play some kill confirmed. Very rarely do I get into a domination match. Um, I would love to play the other modes, but what can you do? So that's what I've been playing recently.
Cool. I've been playing a small game on Steam called Windward. It's an open world sandbox, kind of a shipping pirate game. It takes place kind of in the golden age of pirates style of like sailing ships. It's made by Tesharon Entertainment, and it's a really cute game, I have to say. Like you control your little ship, and there are all these towns all over the map, and you can do trading, you can do missions for all the towns, you can establish your own towns and name them, and you can fight pirates and other factions, and it's really cool.
Nice. And what was this called again?
Windward, uh,
Windward.
and it's multiplayer. I think I've heard like some servers holding like 20 people at a time. We just hold a small amount of people on our private server here on the TeamSpeak. But it's a really entertaining game. It's really fun, and it's you can customize your ship in terms of like color. Like you can change the sails and like the emblem on the sails. So like I have like this dragon on my sails, and it looks really awesome. And it's just a really charming little game. You could tell that it's more of a casual experience, but there's a surprising amount of depth there.
How accurate is the pirate experience on this game? Like, can you get drunk on rum in this game?
Well, uh, you can. Well, one thing that I do, I'm more of like a civilian, like cargo ship. So what I do is I can like take people on like sightseeing tours, and I get an item in my cargo hold called drunken landlubbers, and like they'll randomly say like I am a dread pirate, or like whale off the port bow, and like they'll like throw up over the side of your ship and stuff like that, and you have to like ferry them from one place to another. And if you attack a pirate vessel on the way of their sightseeing tour, they'll give you like a bonus amount of gold and like an item for giving them an amazing experience. But it's all very like very simple. Like I think the entire game is like 120 megs.
Oh, okay. I'm looking it up. It looks pretty interesting. Positive reviews.
Oh yeah, really positive reviews. How about you, Steph? What you been playing?
I've been playing Nothing but Counter-Strike.
Awesome.
Literally nothing but Counter-Strike. That's been my main prerogative. I mean, after everything that happened with school and finishing all of that up, my clan was basically like, okay, you're done with school this semester. Time to start Counter-Strike. And I was like, huh, okay guys, let's do it. And that's been it, pretty much.
You sound like a really experienced Counter Strike player. I never played Counter Strike because I was always worried about like how hardcore it can be and how very skill based it is. So I never thought I could really compete. Would you describe that as a very hardcore skill based game?
It is very competitive. Most of the people that play it play competitive, which is like what you play when you're in a clan, but there are different modes you can play, like deathmatch and just regular casual gameplay that is still kind of challenging, but it's more for like beginners to get people into the idea of playing competitive. So if you were ever interested, I would suggest playing it and trying out deathmatch or arms race or casual or something like that, and maybe it would get you into competitive. But yeah, it's pretty much one of those games that people play specifically to fuck each other, basically. As harsh as
Oh.
that sounds.
Yeah, I've been really interested in Counter Strike. I love the idea of um, how resilient the game is, because Call of Duty. Back to Call of Duty. The thing that frustrates me the most about Call of Duty, above all things, is how you have to buy the same game every year, and they add a little bit here and there, but essentially it's the same game. With Counter Strike, I mean, the original Counter Strike came out like decades ago or something, and now we have Counter Strike Global Offensive, which has some better graphics and gameplay, but it's still relatively old, right?
It came out in August of 2012, and it's
Okay,
still one of the most played games on Steam, if that says anything, which it kind of does, so.
but the it's in the idea of it is intimidating because like thinking about my games on Black Ops 2 right now, like I'm sure there'd be lots of people that would shoot me down, teabag me, and then call me a noob. I'm not even going to tell you my KD ratio, but I'm far from the best player on there. Far, far from the best player. And I know the competitive nature on Counter Strike, and it just seems really intimidating. Like I'm just gonna get like mowed down, left, right, and center. Though the good thing is there's no kill streaks or death streaks that can rain hell down on me. So there's that at the very least.
I don't want to get into the whole, oh, it sucks to be a girl gamer thing, because that happens so much on the internet now, but Counter Strike is actually one of the few games that I felt comfortable talking over mic with people, whereas with other games like Left 4 Dead or Call of Duty, like you said, it was just like any time that I had anything to say, it was immediately, oh, there's a girl on our team? How crazy. And it's like, yeah, in the 21st century, how amazing is it that a woman is playing video games? But with Counter-Strike, you don't really get that, and it's more just like people giving you shit for making stupid decisions rather than being bad, or people giving you a hard time for just like not paying basic attention to the game more than them giving you a hard time for not knowing about it. People seem a lot more welcoming to the idea of like teaching new people how to play, which is nice.
That sounds really good. I definitely will try it soon. There was something I was going to say about that. Oh, women in gaming. It seems like when someone finds out there's a girl in the lobby, there's one of two thoughts. Either, oh, we're gonna lose, or I want to see if I can date her.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, that really is how it is, though. And it really is unfortunate because I've always been like a huge gamer, and it's always been a real turn off to me that the thing that I'm the most passionate about is something that like most guys think. Like, because when I tell a guy, oh, I play video games, he immediately like thinks, oh, you play
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing and shit like what is that game on Facebook?
Farmville.
Yes, Farmville
Or Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. That's the one that I was thinking. Cause
Meanwhile, you're sitting here murdering people in Counter-Strike.
yeah, and it drives them crazy. Actually, after just saying that the Counter-Strike environment is so much better, there actually was a game that I played the other night with it wasn't my entire clan. We had 3 people. So we had 2 people that were just randoms, and I guess they were friends, and I was just nice about it. I was like, hey guys, there's someone behind you that you might want to check out for. And they were immediately like, are you a girl? Is there a girl on our team? And I was like, yeah, I'm a girl. How surprising, right? It must blow your mind.
Are either of you familiar with that video that went viral about dear female streamers or something like that?
No, I'm not.
Where this guy made a video basically about he was criticizing the female streamers that use their looks and sexuality to gain viewers, and he was expressing the idea that you're doing a whole disservice to female gamers by acting in such a way. And while I don't agree with him on all the points that he made, he did present an idea that needs some thought. That are these women beyond responsibility on how they act and dress? While I don't agree with the idea of putting your own morality on somebody else, maybe we should think about how other people shape the community. And it is unfortunate that the hardcore gaming community has largely been male, and going forward in this new generation, our responsibility is to open up new avenues for more people, a more diverse community. And maybe this is for later on in the conversation, but we need to not freak out when a girl is in the lobby, because gamers are gamers, and her skill isn't dependent on her gender or sexuality.
But then to a degree, I mean, I get what you're saying, but when you're like describing the video that you watched, like there are women out there that play games and like overproduce the fact that they're a woman, and they're just like, hey guys, I'm a girl, you want to give me free skins and give me money on my Steam account, you want to be my friend, and like that is just like a whole other side of the spectrum where that is just as bad for girls in gaming as it is for dudes to like flip out when a girl joins a server. Like, it's the other side of the coin where it's a female basically using the fact that she's a female to get free stuff. And in my opinion, from a woman, that is almost worse in a way than the guys that freak out when I join a server, is the women that are like, oh, let me use the fact that I have boobs to get free things.
Sounds like a powerful topic for another episode of VideoGrimes.
Yeah, this should be something we seriously consider talking about, because we seem to have a lot of things to say.
Agreed.
Heck yeah. I'm going to jump into the small bits of news before we jump into the main topic of what is a gamer. First up in the news, Bethesda will be opening their own section at E3 on June 16th through the 18th. And this is the first time that Bethesda's ever done something this big at E3. And I'm super excited about it. I have many uh, pet theories on what this could mean for us as gamers. Like, for example, Fallout 4 or something else. Like, if they're actually making their own like booth at E3, they've got to have something big to announce.
Link is really excited and hoping for a Fallout 4, and considering that they're doing their own booth, I really wouldn't be surprised if it's a huge AAA thing that they're releasing.
What would a Fallout 4 look like?
I honestly hope the things that I love about the Fallout universe is I love their shooting mechanics. I like that they take first person shooting game mechanics and then incorporate them into a hardcore RPG system so that people who are good at shooters can really kick ass, but then those of us who are less shooty and more RPG can find little ways to buff our characters and use that more intellectual side to win battles. And I like that blending. What I want out of Fallout 4 is I want basically the best of both worlds when it came to like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, because I love the shooting mechanics in Fallout 3, but New Vegas, or no, I loved the mechanics in New Vegas, but the story just fell apart. And I love Fallout 3 and its world and its story and everything like that, but some of the mechanics were a little dodgy and a little clunky, and they really trimmed and streamlined the experience in New Vegas. But honestly, I'm just looking forward to what new things they can bring to the experience, like what new mechanics they can introduce into the game. But I do want more action.
Lots of action.
Next up on our news feed, we have Assassin's Creed Syndicate is going to be coming out from Ubisoft, and they have announced that they will have a playable female character. I guess the backlash from Assassin's Creed Unity has finally caught up with them.
Finally.
So, Assassin's Creed was never a title that I was super interested in. Can someone give me a very consolidated, small background on the story of the game, just to, like, give me an idea of what we're talking about?
Well, the Assassin's Creed series takes place in the modern day, uh, despite what you might see in trailers, and it follows the exploits of two different organizations, the Assassins and the Templars, who have been fighting each other throughout history since the Crusades. And basically, through science fiction technology, the Templars and eventually the Assassins are able to look into a person's DNA so that that person can relive the memories of their ancestors. So the series, while chronologically takes place in maybe like a year, maybe 2 years of the protagonist's life, you jump from whole time periods and whole different environments and historical figures. Uh, so the first Assassin's Creed took place in the Crusades in the Middle East, near Jerusalem and Acre and the assassin headquarters. And then the second game took place in the Renaissance in Italy and so on and so forth. And they love jumping between different time periods. And most of your assassination contracts, because you're an assassin, you're trying to kill the Templars, and it's a centuries long struggle between these two organizations. Uh, each person that you kill in the games actually died in that year under somewhat similar circumstances in real life history. So it's an interesting way to look at history, and it's really fun. This new Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, will be taking place in Victorian London. You'll be playing as Jacob and Evie Fry, two assassins who have been brought up in the assassin order. They're brother and sister. They're twins. Jacob is a charismatic and impulsive brawler who loves getting his hands dirty and is very forceful in his method of action, whereas his sister Evie is very tactical and cunning. She's extremely intelligent, very stealthy, and very she has a subtle way of dealing with problems, and the two of them bounce off each other very nicely. They're a good foil for each other, and you get to play as both of them, and you're faced with how to solve different problems based on these two characters. Do you want to go in and like beat the ever living crap out of people, or do you want to go in more quietly and do more subversive tactics, more political maneuvering? And that's what Evie does. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it, but I'm glad that they're taking a new direction, or at least they're answering the concerns that the fan base had when it came to the previous installments.
Yeah, I've never played any of the Assassin's Creed games myself. They seem interesting, although I've gotten lost with them because they all seem very, very similar. Where would you start if you were going to start an Assassin's Creed game?
I would suggest starting with the first one, but that's not really necessary. The first one was more of a launch title for the PlayStation 3, and it was a new IP, so they didn't really know where they were going with it. And some of the mechanics in the first one were really kind of unpolished, but they really started to shine around Assassin's Creed 2, and so on and so forth. The biggest problem I feel with the Assassin's Creed series is that they focus so much on the historical storyline of like the ancestors' life that they neglect the story of the main protagonist, Desmond Miles, who you play through Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, and all the in-between games that happen in there. There's like 5 games that you play as Desmond, and they really neglect Desmond's character, so it kind of sucks. But the gameplay is one thing that I've always loved about the Assassin's Creed series. I love the freedom of movement. I love the ability to like blend into crowds and seamlessly jump up into buildings and free run all over historical cities and murder people with knives.
And parkour.
And parkour, so much parkour. And they really do flesh out each one. There have been so many Assassin's Creed games, though, that if you wanted to play them in chronological order, there's a rich but bulky amount of material that you would have to go through. So honestly, I know that I didn't really answer your question. It really depends on do you want a clearer understanding of the story, or do you want the best gameplay experience?
Well, you kind of did. Basically start with the first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he did a pretty good job.
Cool. And last but not least, we have...
Wait.
Oh, yeah,
I don't mean to interrupt. I am so sorry. But I think that this is something that is kind of a big deal, and it's something we've talked about before, and it should be a topic of discussion, and I just found it out. So, Rock Band 4's campaign is supposedly going to be like an RPG type of game.
Really?
They are basically going to make it so that you follow a path. You can choose a company to be your sponsor, and you will get fans and lose fans based on who dislikes and likes the company. Or you can basically choose to just be a couch surfer and stay at your fans' houses and, like, not have to put money towards housing, but it'll bring down your rating as a band because you're couch surfing. But apparently, yeah, this is a thing that they are totally doing now, and I don't know how I feel about it, but just reading up on it a bit, it seems like they're trying to make Rock Band more than just, oh hey, here's a guitar, play this song, and more of like a game.
I have a couple thoughts on it, differing thoughts. I like the idea in context of the new Guitar Hero. because the new Guitar Hero has this idea that you are going to be playing the song, and it's this first person perspective giving you the experience of being a rock star. This is similar in that you get to somewhat play the life of a rock star by starting out small, getting big.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, what's going to be, like, the end goal? Like, is it going to be with Tidal and Jay-Z? Or is it going to be, like, being just, like, a cool indie band? I don't know. But the other thought I have is opposite. Like, why do we play Guitar Hero or Rock Band? It's to be with friends, play a few songs, have fun, the end. I don't know too many people that really actively played these games like by themselves.
I did for a while, but it was when it first started, and I will tell you, it is one of those games where you just want to, like, play with friends, and by the time you have it all set up, and have the drums set up, and the mic set up, and all of the guitars set up, you're just, like, frustrated, and don't want to play by the time you get everything ready to play.
Yeah, exactly. I listened to a conversation recently, and the whole debate was, can you bring back this game? Because, like, do we want this again as gamers? Do we want to have to buy new plastic instruments? Do we want to have to find places to put these plastic instruments? I don't know.
Well, the cool thing about Rock Band 4 is that it is backwards compatible, so you can use your old Rock Band stuff.
That is cool.
Whereas with Guitar Hero, it's not backwards compatible, so if you want to play the new Guitar Hero, good luck. Way to go spending $300 on everything you'll need as your setup.
Ouch.
Maybe the kids will like it.
Not to mention the fact that you have to play it on the new system. And who has an Xbox One these days? Like, aren't all the cool kids using PCs now? Or is this not the master race anymore?
I know lots of people with Xboxes and PlayStations. I tapped out and have enjoyed myself ever since of that rat race. But
I have a 360 and a Wii U, and that's all I need console-wise, because I bought my Wii U for Bayonetta, and I had my 360 because I didn't want to let go of the original Rock Band.
I want a PS4 because of Metal Gear.
I want a PS4.
I want a PS4 too, but for all of the Tales series.
I'd love it for Bloodlines. Bloodborne. I don't know why I said Bloodlines. And, what's that zombie game? The Last of Us.
Oh man, The Last of Us is an amazing game.
I need to finish it.
I still haven't played it, and I really, really, really want to play it.
It'll make you sad. Your heart will die. Okay, sorry for, like, interrupting you, Sean. You can do your last news.
That's fine. And in our last bit of news before our main topic, Markiplier's YouTube channel has reached 3 years old as of this recording.
Aww.
Congratulations!
Yay! I'm a big Markiplier fan. I fell in love the moment I watched one of his silly little horror videos, and ever since then I've been totally on board, and I'm really happy that it's been 3 years of Markiplier.
That's adorable. I don't know how you can't like Markiplier. The dude is awesome. He's just so full of personality.
Oh yeah, he's such a sweetheart.
And you watch his videos, he's hilarious. He makes it look easy, which you think about it just a little bit longer and you're like, wow, not everyone can do what he does. But you just want to hang out with the guy.
I feel like a jerk because I don't know him very well. I remember the few videos that you, Sean, and you, Jordan, showed me, but pretty much besides that, I'd never heard of him before, but it's a really big accomplishment to get that far on YouTube, so congrats either way, even if I'm not a fan, because that's a pretty huge achievement.
Oh yeah, and he works his butt off.
Yeah, it's more than gaming, really. Like, he's when I think about like famous YouTubers, I think of lots of different people across lots of different um, s- subject matters, and I definitely put him in one of the greatest YouTubers. And it takes a lot of work to do that, to get to that level and to keep it running for 3 years.
We want to give congrats. We may as well also give congrats to Total Biscuit because he is officially cancer free. Yay.
Yay!
Did he have cancer? I feel like a jerk that I didn't know this.
Yes, he had very severe cancer, and it was so bad that they thought he may not be able to continue with his channel.
Oh, wow.
But he forced himself through it anyway for the fans, and that's just even better. He's an amazing guy. I don't always agree with what he has to say, but he's a pretty cool guy, and I'm really glad that he pushed through and made it out of that mess. Because no one deserves cancer.
No, not at all.
I don't care if he's pro or anti-Gamergate. I'm so sick of the Gamergate shit. He deserves an applause for just making it through cancer and just moving on and trying to make his fans happy.
Heck yeah, Total Biscuit.
Great job, Total Biscuit, for beating cancer, and great job, Markiplier, for being here for 3 years. May you
Yay!
be here for 3 years more.
Now on to our main topic. There is a great division in the gaming community about who should wear the moniker of gamer. Some of the hardcore fan base have proclaimed that some people don't deserve to have such a title. And with this controversy in mind of this division of what is a gamer, what are y'all's definition of gamer? I'll start with Jordan H.
Okay, I think this is a really interesting topic, though I've had some difficulty with it, just thinking about it, because I can't really think of a whole lot. I guess just starting out, the definition to me is, obviously someone who plays games, but obviously it goes a lot deeper than that. How much do they play games? Are they more aligned with real-time strategy games, first-person shooter games, or casual gamers also? Like, what kind of game do they play? But in all reality, anybody that plays a game, that finds entertainment through games, could be defined as a gamer. I found this interesting article on NPR about the differences between hardcore and casual gamers, and it illustrated that divide that's happening. That hardcore gamers tend to look down on casual gamers, though casual gaming is a huge market, and it's probably just as sizable as the hardcore market is. But looking back through my career in gaming, there's been times that I've played games a lot, and there's been times that I haven't really played games at all. But even in those times that I wasn't playing games, if at all, I was still connected into the culture. I was on the websites, watching videos, just consuming content about video games. So essentially I've kept that gaming lifestyle most of my life, and have considered myself a gamer even though I was more casual at times. I've gotten a lot more into gaming as of late, but I was hoping that my opinions would become more formulated the more that we talked about this.
Yeah, casual games are a big source of controversy in the hardcore community. It seems that there's a very big divide between, like, are you hardcore or are you casual? And even the word casual gamer can carry some negative connotations to it.
Is it because it doesn't take as much perceived skill to play a casual game versus something like World of Warcraft that might require more time and effort on behalf of the player.
I can kind of, yeah, that's where I can sense some of the division coming from. What do you think, Steph?
I mean, I love my fiance Link to death. I mean, I guess I should go ahead and say, hey, my fiance is Link, so that is who I am talking about when I say Link. But yeah, I play a lot of Tales games like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and Tales from the Borderlands, and they're more of just like interactive stories rather than like, oh, shoot 'em ups or anything like that. And he just immediately shuts down and tells me, oh, those aren't video games. And I'm like, okay, well, you may feel that way, but if everyone felt that way, then they wouldn't be a thing.
Where do you think all of this division and frustration in the community is coming from?
There's this idea that that gaming, I think, is this self-made space, and when it starts changing from the outside, people get really angry, um, and so when people come in and say I'm a gamer, and they're like, oh, what do you game? It's like, oh, Candy Crush. And it's like, you're not a gamer, and this antagonism starts, and and so yeah, I think it comes from this space of I get to define my own community, and there's people that are defining my community without my permission, and therefore I am going to get angry about it.
Uh, uh, I think that's a good point that sometimes gamers will single out either a genre or a specific game and say and accuse it of not being a game. Like I've heard some gamers say that visual novels aren't games.
Now you're talking about games like Alan Wake? Is that?
More like point and clicks. Like,
Oh,
Point and clicks or like visual novels can also be described as there are games that come out of Japan that are basically manga that are in digital form where it
Secura Spirit, for example. I
yeah.
know that's one of them that's on Steam. I bought it recently. I didn't enjoy it myself, but that would be one example of an interactive story game. Uh, all good examples are Telltale's games. They have a few things that you can do game-wise, but it's mostly just a story that you're being led through. And every time that Link would want to get into the argument of, oh, well, that's not a game, I wanted to start the same argument of, oh, well, do you want to argue whether or not games are art? Because that's kind of the same thing, or it's in the same spectrum. You can't, like, pick and choose.
Yeah.
yeah, and that debate has been going on for a little while, and Roger Ebert, the late great Roger Ebert, famously or infamously, depending on where you look at it, declared that games were not art, though lots of people came back to argue that point against it. But I think, in this modern day and age, you pick your entertainment. And people generally like stories, and games tend to mostly have stories in them. And so
They're interactive stories.
they're interactive
if
stories,
anything.
and there's people that really like movies. They watch a lot of movies. Book nerds will read books. That might be a disparaging term. I apologize for that. But and then gamers will tend to play a lot of games, though they're all consuming stories. It's all very similar forms of entertainment because they all require different amounts of interaction with the medium, but you're all getting something out of it, and a gamer enjoys the culture. They want to experience the game. They want to play the game. They want to play with other people. They want to get to an end of the game without spoilers so that they can have this experience of a story unfolding for them, one that they literally took part in. And so it's this idea that they want to be entertained in this particular manner.
Yeah.
I love Roger Ebert, and I respected the shit out of him, but I've always disagreed on that video games aren't art narrative that he drew. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Video games are basically movies that you can play yourself. So if movies are pieces of art, then why aren't video games seen as pieces of art when they're basically just movies that you play yourself?
I was always confused at that statement that games weren't art, because it was so apparent to me that, yeah, games were art. You play something, I can't think of a great example now, but there's games out there that are very moving emotionally and provocative with ideas that, or with things that cause you to think about new ideas. And yeah, games are definitely a form of art, in my opinion.
I would agree as well. And so does the Supreme Court.
It's been going on 10 years. Going on 10 years, and people are still clamoring for a Half-Life 3. So, just saying, people are way more interested in Half-Life 3 than they are, say, Alien 6 or a Poltergeist 2 or what have you.
And it's not for the gameplay. It's because we want to figure out what happens to Alex Vance and Gordon Freeman. Please, Valve, give us the ending.
Or a new story.
They're cock blocking us, man.
They're cock blocking us hard.
They're just like, they just hate us so much. They hate us as their...
Gaben, please.
Basically, we're their employers because we give them money, and they're just like, fuck you guys, we hate you. No Half-Life 3 in your future. Also, every time you say Half-Life 3, you basically have pushed it back by another 6 months, so thanks, Jordan. Thanks for that.
I still hold out hope. But my personal definition of a gamer kind of ties in this idea of the gamer culture. I was thinking about this topic and what it means to be a gamer, and I thought to myself, it is kind of like a small little thought experiment. What would you say the difference is between a person who rides a motorcycle to and from work and someone who is a biker? And those two things those two people are very different people. And I sure as hell am not going to tell a biker that I'm a biker just because I ride to and from work on a machine called a motorcycle. I think they'll take some issue with that. And I feel in that distinction between biker and person who rides a motorcycle is the same delineation that I would make between a person who plays games and a gamer. I would say that there's a passion there, that a biker looks at bikes not as a method of transportation, but as a beautiful machine. There's an elegance, there's a zeal, there's a almost lust for fixing it and changing it and altering it and customizing it, and there's an entire culture and subculture in that world. And I thought about it, and I remember I have two cousins that play Minecraft all the time. Like, they play Minecraft like almost exclusively, and they're really good at it. Like, they've made some crazy stuff. But whenever I would talk to them about other games, their eyes would just kind of glaze over. They wouldn't really react too much. But when it came to Minecraft, even though they were very good at it, they had this almost benign, almost aloofness with it. It was just something they did, and it's just something that they were good at. But they didn't really have a passion for it. And I think it's that passion that defines the gamer, regardless of what you play. And I would hesitate in calling my two cousins gamers because they lack that passion, regardless of what genre it is, whether it's fighting games or RPGs or first person shooters or visual novels. Whether you care about the mechanics of a game or the story, there's a big division, even amongst my friends, of what's more important, mechanics or story. I tend to drift in the story department, but it's that idea of that passion, and I feel that is the one morphological difference between a gamer and someone who just happens to play games.
Well, everybody, Sean deserves a fucking applause because you just changed my mind, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like, after hearing you use the example of a guy that rides his motorcycle for fun and a guy who rides it every day because it's his passion and it's something that he really wants to do and he maintains his bike and takes care of it, and I was just thinking about it and thinking to myself, wow, I spend so much of my free time just like, oh, I can get this last achievement for this game. Oh, I can do blah 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 in Final Fantasy. It's something that I'm aiming for. It's my prerogative. But like thinking to my little sister playing, like Spelunky or Binding of Isaac, like they're great games, but she's not aiming for any specific goal. She's just playing because she needs to play and have some time away from the real world.
Yeah, and it's that idea, and because games are becoming more and more ubiquitous in our culture, there's a vast amount of people who've played video games. Like even my mom has played, the first Phoenix Wright game, and because games are becoming so ubiquitous and just so commonplace in our culture, I think that the only thing that truly separates the cream from the crop is that passion. And I feel that everyone on this panel has that. Everyone here has that passion for games. We are all gamers.
So essentially, you're saying there's a price to entry for every niche culture out there,
I would say so.
and with biking, the price of entry is the bike. Essentially, it's a pricey piece to that. The price of entry for gaming is curiosity, passion, openness to try new things like that.
Yeah, and I feel that a lot of subcultures have this same morphological element. I happen to be very passionate about guns and weapons and in shooting community. And even though I don't own a firearm, I don't actually own the one tool necessary to participate, but I have a passion for it. And uh, and in that community, there's a very big difference between someone who just has a gun, goes out, maybe hunting once in a while, even hunting for food, and then someone who's really into like the culture and all of that. And the more I look at all these different cultures of bikings or bikers, shooters, uh, even collectors, and other stuff like that, I notice that it's that passion, that passion for collecting Beanie Babies, that passion for hairstyling, that passion for cooking that makes the difference between a home cook and a chef.
And for gaming, it's that passion of either getting all of the achievements or that passion of like just completing the game.
Or the story, or the culture, or the hidden meanings behind the games, or finding bugs. Like I have a friend of mine whose sole passion in gaming is finding bugs, and he loves picking up a game even when it's been patched, and he'll ignore everything about the game. He'll ignore the story. He'll ignore he'll even like use cheats to get past certain levels. But he will hunt for bugs and weird things. He'll try to clip through the map. He'll try to go into sectioned off areas. He'll try to kill himself in a weird like physics defying way. And he's got this huge like love of finding weird problems in games. and he's shown me some of the weirdest things I've ever seen, like in the Jack and Daxter series, of like finding ways to like slip out of the map and like just go wherever you want and not have to worry about getting killed by like the creatures that cause a an invisible wall to where you can't venture beyond where the game developers want you to go. He loves trying to outsmart the game developers and trying to work around their their tiny little box that they've defined, and it's fascinating. And I would definitely call him a gamer.
I wanted to take it back to the casual gamer and how they fit all in all of this. Or are they? Do you consider them gamers, or is there always going to be that modifier of, oh, that person is a casual
I would
gamer?
say
I hate the term casual gamer. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sean. You can go
that's
ahead.
fine.
Oh, what did you ask?
I was just saying, like, I hate the term casual gamer. I hate any gamer term as much as I agree with Sean. I just really hate that term. Like, who am I to say that you're dumb for playing Candy Crush? If you like it and it's your game, and that's fine, and I'm glad that you found something that you like. I have a lot of, like, older family members who play these Facebook games, and on the one hand, I facepalm, but at the same time, I also am kind of like, okay, well, at least you're playing something and not being one of those old people that are just like, video games are the bane of the earth and terrible things, and no one should ever play them ever. Like, I would much rather have my family members playing Candy Crush and Farmville and Spider Solitaire and just stupid stuff rather than be those kinds of people that are like, oh, well, video games suck, don't ever play them, they will ruin your life.
I agree.
So maybe casual games. If do you like the term casual game as a term as opposed to casual gamer?
I'm not entirely sure if I agree with that. Like, I would, instead of defining, say, Candy Crush as a casual game, I think I would more try to morphologically describe it as like a match 3 game and
Social media game.
social media game. Yeah, or it could be like Candy Crush in many ways is kind of like a puzzle game in how it operates. So I would say that it's not the games that you play, it's why you play them. And there's shades of gray in everything.
Yeah. When you start to think about where does the differentiation lie between a casual game and maybe a hardcore game, and you're like, well, is it the amount of time that you put into it? You can pick up a game of Candy Crush and put it down within 5 minutes. Though I've known people that have played Farmville and Candy Crush for hours, just as long as you might play, you know, Call of Duty or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it does become challenging. Is it just because it's on a phone or on Facebook that makes it casual? But that term is still there, and most people can identify a casual game versus a regular game. There's some differentiation, but you can maybe think of a casual game as an entrance into mainstream gaming, maybe.
Yeah, kind of like a gateway game.
Yeah, a gateway game. You might pick up that Mortal Kombat X iOS game and you're like, I want to play the real thing. And go out and buy a PS3 and a copy of Mortal Kombat X and go to town.
Ha ha ha. iOS. Real men have androids, Jordan.
I was an Android lover. I don't hate Android. But I switched and I love my iOS. You can call me what you want.
And with that, before a fight breaks out between Android and iOS, I think this has been an amazing conversation. And I would like to thank all of our listeners for having fun with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can find us on Twitter at VidGrimes.
You can find me at Life in Context on Twitter.
And you can find me at Cake Apocalypse on Twitter.
This has been VideoGrimes.com. Our host has been me, Sean Sprinkle. Our technical director has been Jordan Aech, and our brand authoritarian has been Stef. Our theme song comes to us from Azure Flux. The title of the song is Eat My Chips. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
See ya!